Hi there, you're listening to the Guitar Speak podcast, produced in Sydney, Australia. My name is Matt Wakeling, and thank you so much for joining me today for episode number 76. Now today it's a heavy metal doubleheader. We speak to the incredibly influential Andreas Kisser, who's been playing with Sepultura for over 30 years, the Brazilian thrashers, and they've recently released their 17th studio album, Machine Messiah. Well, when I say recent, about a year ago, but they've still been touring off the back of it. In fact, they're coming to Australia in May 2018. We talk about that tour. We talk about how the latest album really marked a new chapter in the life of Sepultura and all the guitar goodness that goes along with that. It was really cool to talk to Andreas. Then we speak to Nikki Stringfield from the Iron Maidens. The Iron Maidens are, it's crazy, they're touring the world as a tribute to Iron Maiden. Nikki's playing all the Dave Murray parts and the vocals and doing an incredible job with her guitar partner, Courtney Cox, who does all the Adrian Smith stuff. Really, really great band, and she nails those parts. And on top of that, Nikki's started releasing her own solo material, which shows a different side of her musicianship. So really cool to talk to her about that, about her Schecter signature guitar, and the tour. They're also touring Australia, also in May, independently of Sepultura, but two very cool metal bands hitting our shores shortly. All right, let's jump straight into my interview with Andreas Kisser. I started by asking Andreas what we could expect seeing Sepultura in Australia for the first time in 4 years.
No, we're very happy to come back to Australia with a new album. It's a great momentum for us. We did a whole year of last year of touring everywhere, and now we're going to New Zealand and Australia and one show in Japan. No, very excited, man. You know, we're talking to doing a lot of interviews, especially me and Derek.
Mm-hmm.
People are very excited about us coming down there, and especially with our friends from That Angel. You know, it's
Cool.
It couldn't be better. It's gonna be great.
That's awesome. Now, when you say touring for the album Machine Messiah, this came out a bit over a year ago, but it seems like it's become a massive part of your live set.
Definitely. We're playing a lot of songs of Machine Messiah. I guess since Chaos AD in '94 or '93 that we didn't play so many new songs on a new tour, you know. And it's going great. You know, people knows the music. It seems that they listen the album from start to end. You know, really grasping the concept of the album and everything. And of course, we have room to play the old stuff as well.
Cool.
But we're playing a lot of the new stuff. You know, we have
That's
songs
great.
like Machine Messiah, Iceberg Dances, and all that. You know, and it's very exciting. You know, to have such a different variety of songs that we can, you know, make the set list and really, you know, celebrate this 33 years of Sepultura with everything we did. You know, it's great.
That's super cool. I've heard you mention talking about the album that there was a new chapter in some ways for Sepultura. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, after we celebrated the 30 years of Sepultura, you know, we created the logo, we did many products, you know, celebrating the date. We did a whole tour in 2015, you know, to celebrate the 30 years of Sepultura. We did the movie as well, you know, the documentary
Yeah.
Sepultura Endurance. And in doing so, you know, we remember a lot of our past and, you know, going through our archives and looking to old photos and videos, you know, and it felt that we were closing a big cycle of
Hmm.
this big volume of many chapters of our history, you know, from 1984 to 2014 and
Sure.
15, 85 when it came out, the first album, you know, all these 30 years that was feeling that we are closing this big volume of many chapters, you know.
Hmm.
And Machine Messiah seems to be a new beginning, you know, a new beginning, a new phase. It's an album that it's bringing a lot of new possibilities for Sepultura in the future, you know. So it feels like a chapter one of the volume two, you know,
Yeah,
of
cool.
our career, you know.
Awesome.
So it's exciting, you know. We have a lot of stuff ahead of us that we we can explore, you know.
That's great. The album itself, it did seem to explore a lot of maybe not new spaces, but things you've done before in Sepultura and take them to new directions. There seemed to be a very progressive undercurrent at the same time as some more classic, thrashy kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are using the term prog, you
Yeah.
know, which I love it.
Uh huh.
I really like, you know, Yes and all that scene, you know,
Yeah. Cool.
King Crimson and all that, that stuff that really, you know, very musical, very virtuoso and stuff. You know, a lot of different instruments with clean guitars and
Yeah. Yeah.
heavy and you know percussion and everything. So it's and I think with Eloy Casagrande, you know, I could really improve my writing and my playing because he is a drummer that can play anything basically, you know, and is a type of a musician that I can challenge, you know, to do impossible stuff.
Okay.
You know,
That's
so we kind of challenge each other, you know, really to write, and that really made the Sepultura sound expand more, you know.
yeah. Cool. Very cool. What's the writing process like? How does that work for your band?
Basically started with some guitar riffs, um, where it was not actually songs, you know, just like some guitar loops and some riff ideas. And
Okay.
Eloy have some drum loops and drum ideas as well, you know.
Okay.
So we started exchanging some ideas, and I had some demos as well. That some old stuff that I didn't use that I develop in different ways and stuff. So I use a little bit of everything, you know. And in the second stage, we went to the rehearsal room and really developed all the ideas together with Derek and Paulo, you know, with the bass arrangements
Hmm.
and the vocal ideas and everything. And then, of course, Jens came in, you know, and did the final touches. But basically guitars and drums, you know, just
Okay.
basic ideas,
Yeah.
and
Cool.
then we develop from there.
Very good. You mentioned Jens. That's Jens Borgen, your Swedish producer. What did he bring to the process at the end there?
It was great, man. Jens is an amazing producer. He's a great musician as well. He plays guitar, so he has that language. You know, he has that sensibility, and he knows technology and everything, and he understands the Sepultura history, where we're coming from, and what we do and what we needed now. You know,
Hmm.
and he did an amazing sound. He produced everything. He recorded everything, and he mixed everything. You know, so he did the whole package. We went to Sweden at his home studio, record over there, and it was great. You know, I mean, he was a perfect choice for us, and he's a very different producer from everything that we worked before, and which that's what we are looking for. You know, because we worked with Ross Robinson on the Mediator album. Which is a very different type of producer, very spiritual, you know, a lot of effects, a lot of noises and stuff.
Yep.
And Jens was a total different style, you know. And I think for Machine Messiah was a perfect choice because every song has a very strong characteristic, you know, and very different from each other. And he really was the guy who really made that more clear, you know, on the album. Not only producing and finding the right sounds, but mixing as well, you know.
Okay. The guitar sounds are great. Like you mentioned, there's a variety of things. The clean guitars on the opening track, of course. The acoustics in Iceberg Dances are great. It's great hearing you playing acoustic within a tune, not so much just the intro, but playing it within the context of the
Exactly,
song.
yeah. Exactly, that was the idea, you know, to incorporate the classical guitar and
Yeah.
nylon string guitar more to the band, you know, to the sound, and this is something I plan to use more, you know, in future albums because I enjoyed a lot, and we are performing, you know, iceberg dances on stage.
Oh,
It's the first
fantastic.
time I have you know, the guitar on both guitars on stage with the, you know, the acoustic guitar on the stand, and
Okay,
it's
great.
working great, you know, and it's really, you know, live, really expanding new possibilities for the song, you know, because it is a jamming song, you know,
Yeah.
and and on the album, I use so many different guitars. Of course, my guitars, you know, Jacksons and Charvel,
Yep.
my Fender Strat. but I also use SG and Gibson Les Paul.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I use other Fender Strats. I use Ibanez 7 strings and whatever the song was asking for. Jens, like I said, he's a musician, so he has many guitars and basses at his studio that I could use and try out. So in the studio, you have to use whatever is necessary. It's not like that you have to use only what you use sponsors and stuff like that. You
Sure.
have really to be open. The same with the guitar cabinets and heads. I mean, we made so many different mixtures between I don't know 5150 and Bogners and Marshalls and Orange and Mesa Boogies and stuff. So on guitars was the same. No, I don't want to be uh, uh, a political a
Sure.
guitarist. Just like use whatever it works.
Yeah, sure. So you're still with Charvel. They still your main sponsor at the moment?
Yeah, it's Jackson Charvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same company
Yeah,
and
yeah, under
Fender
Fender.
Strats.
Yeah.
Just but I'm more like connected with Charvel and Jackson.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool. Very cool. You mentioned the seven string. I was when I was listening to Cyber God, that sounds like it's tuned down low. Is that one of the seven string songs?
You know what? I don't remember, but it could be.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's
usually, we use the low tuning on the sixth string.
okay. What do you get down to?
But B flat.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
the
cool.
so and we use like heavier gauge strings from 13s to 60,
Okay.
and
Yep.
it's like on the limit, on the borderline as a baritone, but still is a guitar.
Yeah. Okay.
But it works great. It's been working since Roots. We've been using this tuning,
Yeah, cool.
but he actually was inspired by a seven string because I used to have a seven string, and
Okay.
with the lower string. We decided I never really adapt myself playing seven strings, so
Sure.
I chose really to use the six string guitar, but tuning lower.
Hmm. Very cool. The heavy guitars have such a raw and organic, like natural tone with there's not a lot of effects going on. It just really sounds like you're hitting the amp fairly
Exactly.
hard. Is that the case?
Yeah, I mean my sound. I really don't have distortion pedals.
Hmm.
I really rely a lot on the head, and the pickups, of course.
Okay.
So it's a guitar straight to the amp, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's more natural sound. You feel more the strings, the pick, the guitar, the instrument, the wood, and everything. And you don't. I mean, not that the pedals are illusion, but it's something more real. You feel more the connection with the instrument, and that's what I do live as well. And on the studio, I just use pedals just for overdubs and some special sounds here and there. Some
Okay.
fuzz and
Yep.
some extra distortion. But my basic sound really is guitar and amps.
Great. Well, it's working, man. It's massive. It's so big on the record. Loved it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So when you tour, what do you bring with you? Like, especially for a tour to Australia, that's a fair bit of traveling for you guys. Do you rely on backline? Are you able to bring your own amps? How do you treat the live situation?
No, yeah, usually we rent stuff locally.
Hmm.
I mean, I have the Orange as a sponsor, so they provide the amps for me
Okay.
in the States and in Europe in general. In Australia will be the same, but I'm also using the camper,
Okay. Yep. As a live sort of tool.
as a, yeah, as an option, for
Okay.
this type of stuff. When our long travels where we cannot really take too much stuff and everything, a camper is shown to be a very good option. There's a lot of heads, and you can also put your own sound there. Clone your own sound.
Hmm. Yep.
So it is something that I'm relying whenever I need it. But
Okay. Sure.
usually I like to use the head.
Okay. Yep. And what model head is your go-to model from
I'm using I
Orange?
I like the orange, the Rocker Verba Mark 200,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
is
Cool.
I've been using for years. It's amazing.
Yeah, great. That's big. And what about guitars? What will you bring with you?
I bring four instruments, four guitars. I'm gonna bring like three Jackson Randy Rhodes and one Charvel
Yeah.
Strat for two different tunings. One for main guitar and a second one just for backup.
Okay.
That's what I have.
Yeah. Cool. And your nylon strings? Are you gonna bring those out as well for the instrumental for
Yeah,
Icebreak dancers?
I have a Brazilian brand that's called Giannini, which is a Italian family that came to Brazil more than 100 years ago, and they're very traditional guitar builders here, and I'm using their instrument, his instrument, on Iceberg dances, and it's responding great.
Man, it sounds like you guys are very busy touring, and it's been a fantastic last 12 or 13 months since Machine Messiah came out. Are there any plans for another album, or are you just stuck in touring mode for now?
No, I mean we're very much very focused on Mercy Messiah. We still have a lot
Sure.
of places to go. Um, we have plans to put out our movie, in a DVD format at
Okay.
the end of the year, and together with the concert we did at Rock in Rio Festival, which was a very special concert on Machine Messiah with a special stage and guests and stuff. So I think we're gonna focus on that, and a new album. I think it's gonna take still some time.
Yeah,
Of course,
sure.
we have ideas and music's going on all the time, but nothing really specific.
Okay, sure. So you're not so much someone who writes on the road? Do you need your own space to get the writing going?
Yeah, we write. No, we write. We have I have a Pro Tools on my laptop, and but even with the smartphone, you can have ideas
Yeah,
and really
sure.
put on your smartphone just for lyrics or some ideas for riffs and stuff like that. But
Okay.
yeah, on the road we collect ideas, but we don't actually write, But is that there are ideas that can be developed in many different forms later,
Mhm.
So yeah, it's the beginning of the process, We can
Yeah,
start on the road for sure.
sure. Okay. Well, that's excellent. Well, Andreas, thank you so much for your time. Really great to catch up, and we're really,
Thank you, man.
really looking forward to you guys touring Australia and New Zealand in May 2018.
Sounds great, man.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
See you soon.
Andreas. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye bye.
All right, there you go. That's my conversation with Andreas Kisser from Sepultura. And man, I love the passion there after over 30 years with that band, still hungry to create new stuff and take the band in a new direction. So very, very cool. All right, let's move on now onto my interview with Nikki Stringfield from the Iron Maidens. As I said at the top of the show, not just playing with the Maidens, although that's become a huge thing for her, but developing her own solo material, working with Schecter on a signature guitar, and plenty of other cool stuff coming up for Nikki. I started out the interview by asking how she actually landed the gig with the Iron Maidens.
I moved to Los Angeles in January 2012, and I went up to the NAMM show. I didn't know anybody. I met a lot of people, got into my first band called Before the Morning, and a couple of the guys were good friends with Courtney and Nita. So they eventually asked me to fill in for a show in April. I was like, well, hell yeah, let's do it. I've always loved Maiden. I grew up listening to it. So I started filling in with them when Nita wasn't playing, and then it turned into, both of us kind of splitting up the shows because we both had our own bands going on, and then it turned into just me taking over.
That's cool. That's very cool. So when you say Courtney, you mean, of course, Courtney Cox, who's your co-guitarist.
Yes, Adriana Smith.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, she's Adriana. You are, is it Davina Murray? Is that the role you've got there?
That's right, Davina Murray.
That is great. How much fun is it playing those parts, all those harmonies and all the interweaving guitar parts in this gig?
It's so much fun. It doesn't get old. It's so guitar driven. I mean, well, it's got everything. The bass, the drums, everything in that band is just technically, it's fun. It's not it's not something you go up and you're like, oh man, I'm going to be playing like, the same chords over and over. It keeps it challenging, keeps it entertaining. I love learning the new songs that we keep on adding new songs to the list and everything. It just keeps your chops up. So I love it. I couldn't imagine, paying tribute to a different band.
Yeah, as far as a guitar gig goes, yeah, Maiden's got to be way, way up there. What does it do to your playing when you get so invested in one particular player's style? So, as we said, Dave Murray, such an iconic guitar player. What impact does that have on your own playing?
Honestly, his style was totally different than what I was used to. I was kind of more. He uses all these hammer-ons, pull-offs, legatos. He's so fast and fluid with everything, and I was more into just the kind of shredding, picking. So I really had to up my game on that and sit down. My dad's constantly like asking, because he's a guitar player too, and he used to play Maiden songs in his band, and he'd be like, "Are you practicing your hammer-ons and pull-offs?" So, like, yes, I am. I mean, Dave Murray's just one of a kind. That's like his thing, and it's. I'm constantly practicing to try to emulate that.
Okay, yep, cool. Hey, that's pretty cool having a dad who's played the same kind of material and can be on your back to get your legato stuff together. And how much work is it to get, say, the parts together with Courtney? I imagine now they're second nature, but when you're first sitting down to get all the nuances, especially the harmony lines, those guys are so good at not only playing the harmony, but really locking in the nuances like the vibrato and the bends and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Courtney and I, we pretty much, we can tell who's playing what parts,
Mm-hmm.
And then when there's, when there's not Adrian in it, it's Yannick. We split up the parts. We'll go over it on our own, and then we come together, and usually we have it down pretty well by the time we even have a first run through together. Now that I've been doing it for, about getting close to 6 years, I can sit down and pick it out pretty fast. But in the beginning, I was like, oh man, who's doing what? But it's just fun. It's fun
very
to do.
cool. Now, for your tour coming up, I'm interested in your touring rig, what you're bringing. First up, congratulations on your Schecter signature model. That is super cool. That must have been awesome to put that guitar together with Schecter.
Total dream come true. I've been playing them since I was 14.
So tell me about designing that guitar. What's that like when the company says, let's put a model together? What's the next step? How do you actually get the ball rolling?
Man, I was honestly shocked. I'm like, really? Before that one, they had made a custom one-off guitar for me, and it was the same body shape. It was the Avenger shape because I like the edgier style, and that's kind of the edgy style they have. Cool. So I wanted the Avenger, and my one-off, I did this green burst, which is just totally gorgeous, and of course I had the Seymour Duncans and the Sustainiac in it. And people really liked that one, so I think that's why they're like, hey, let's do a signature model, because everybody was asking about that one. So I loved that green color, but I knew I had to do something different. So I went with the red burst, and it came out just gorgeous. I have Seymour Duncans in all of my guitars, but I wanted to use a different pickup than I had in my other one, so I decided to go with the Invader, because the tone is just amazing, so much high end. And I did the Sustainiac in the neck pickup, so you can have like all these cool effects and sustain with different octaves. And it's got the glow in the dark side dot inlays, which is awesome when they decide to dim all the lights in the venue and I have to start a song. And I'm like, yep. Okay, well now I know where I'm at. And the fretboard is kind of what pushes it over the top. Everybody's always like, oh my gosh, your fretboard. It really took me forever to figure out what I wanted to do on that. So we decided, I knew I wanted a skull, because I love skulls on everything. I'm not a really girly person. And So we decided to put the skull at the 12th fret and then kind of doing these vines going up the rest of the neck. And the skull is mother of pearl, and then the vines are abalone. So it's a very beautiful guitar. The neck is super thin with satin finish on the back of the neck, so you can play super fast, super shreddy.
Uh-huh.
I love it. I love it, and I know, I've heard other people have bought it, and they say they love it, so I'm just happy that other people can enjoy it too.
That's super cool. Yeah, the neck inlay pops out like crazy. That's awesome. And you've got a Floyd on there as well,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, nice. Well, that's necessary for Dave Murray and all your other stuff too.
Yes, for sure. Definitely helps out with that.
Now, when you're touring, so yeah, as we're saying, you're coming down to Australia. Are you limited in what you can bring? Like, are you going to bring amps, or will you use backline down here, or do you guys use modeling? What's the go when you're actually touring?
Well, I actually just got a Kemper for that reason, because usually we always use backline wherever we go. And the amps, you never know what you're going to get. Regardless of what you ask for, you never know if it's going to work well.
Sure.
And then I have to bring my whole big pedal board, and I was getting so tired of it. My friend Patrick, who plays for Lita Ford, has been using this Kemper, and he swore by it. It sounded amazing all the time. It sounds like a real amp. It's not a modeling amp; it's a profiler. So I jumped on it. I got one too. I took it to Canada recently for its first run, and I just plug it in. All of my stuff's there. My tones are all preset, and I'm ready to go. So
yeah, cool.
It's tiny. I'm able to just carry it right on the plane with me, put it in the overhead. Yeah, so I'll have all my tone,
Perfect.
all that, my guitar. That's all I need.
Yeah, nice. Are you profiling, I should say, effects as well in the Kemper, or do you lug some effects with?
I'm still playing around with it. It's so new, and I've been so busy lately. Right now, I believe what I'm using, what I used in Canada for the model was one of the Engel amps. Sounds
cool.
killer. I got a lot of profiles that I've been checking out from Mike Spritzer from Devil Driver. He sent me some of his that he created that you can get online, and all of his sound killer. So I'm going to sit down and really I got to figure out, what it's going to be. There's so many different options, and it's so exciting.
That's very cool, very cool. I mean, that's becoming more and more thing, especially touring overseas, that you just want a simple rig that's going to sound fantastic every night.
For sure. It just makes life easier.
Yeah. Sorry, do you guys use in-ears now that you're using profiling amps? You've got that option, or have you got the fallback raging still?
We actually just got on, all of us have in-ears now. The ultimate ears. And boy, they are a life changer on stage, because we all play pretty loud. And I think all of our ears were about to burst. And we got those right before we went to Europe, and man, it's just a total game changer. You can hear everybody so clear, and the Kemper especially sounds amazing through the ears. So I'm
cool.
Totally happy about that.
That's great. Very cool. And you guys all sing too, so for vocal parts, in-ears are fantastic as well.
We try and keep it as close as we can to who's singing what on the Maiden parts to try and emulate our guy. But, we all jump in and participate.
Now, if I can back up to last year a bit, Nikki, you started releasing some solo work, which was really, really cool. So I could clearly hear maybe some Iron Maiden, some influence, but really there was a very modern take when you get to write your own stuff. Can you talk about putting your own music together? So I'm talking about tracks like Save Our Souls and As Chaos Consumes.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. It's my influences range from, of course, all of the older stuff, Pantera, Maiden, Marty Friedman, Megadeth, to Avenged Sevenfold was obviously a big influence. So many. I love modern music as well. My old band was pretty heavy. I've been wanting to do original stuff for a long time, and I always came up with stuff in my head that requires vocals, and I'm like, oh man, well, what will it hurt to just give it a shot? So I released Save Our Souls first, and because I've just been kind of doing one at a time, and that one went over well. So I was like, well, okay. The response was overwhelmingly great. So I've just decided to go ahead, especially now that I've got the Kemper and I can just go record on my own. I'm just gonna record a full length and put that out when it's all done. Hopefully, I hate to give a time frame because
sure.
Being on the road, it's so hard to do, and then I have to get a drummer and all this stuff and get in the studio for the rest of the album. But I'm hoping by maybe June to get a full length out there.
Cool. That's great. Save Our Souls is tuned pretty low. What do you go down to on that?
Oh, that one is actually drop B. I had written the music. I had written all the music for my old band. So I had been sitting on that song for a while, and my old band never used it. So I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. And I didn't realize how tuned down it was until I picked it back up again. But I'm a fan of all the down tunings. Like played some stuff in C and even I've got a 7-string when I fill in for my friend's band, Amir Hollow.
Yeah, cool. Man, it sounds chunky. It sounds great. It sounds very cool. It's interesting. Earlier on you mentioned your dad was on your back about getting your legato stuff together for the Maiden things, and you said you're a picker because there's some great your alternate picking's super together. If I listen to As Chaos Consumes, you're picking on that super tight. It sounds big.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess that's bringing more of your own influence into the music.
Yes. I love this new song I'm working on has it's very Iron Maiden. It's got a ton of harmonies. It's got solos. I don't know how many solos it's got in it. It's a much more guitar driven song, but the choruses I think are going to be big, and it's more along As Chaos Consumes with guitar kind of everywhere.
Yeah, awesome. No, I love that track. Both tracks were big, but As Chaos Consumes. That had a lot of guitars too. I love the harmonies. That was very cool.
Thank you. That harmonies everywhere. That's what I'm all about.
Have you got the sustainer running on that track as well? I thought I heard it in some parts.
Yep, the sustainer I pretty much use everywhere. It's used a lot on As Chaos Consumes. Did I use it? I don't know if I used it much on Save Our Souls though, because that one was more just kind of a straightforward kind of rocking song. I can't remember if I used it on that one. But it's just fun to use live too. At the end of songs, just ringing out, dive. It's a fun toy.
I've heard guys who are running in-ears like yourself will often just run the sustainer all night just so it feels a bit more ampy. It feels like the notes will just catch as if you're standing in front of a massive stack of speakers.
Yep. I try not to leave it running. I'll leave it running like when I bring out like the end note of Hallowed or something, just for like dramatic effect. But nice. But for Maiden, if sometimes I'll forget it's on, I'm like, oh crap, turn that off, because it's there. Oh, I guess it would depend on what octave you have it on. I usually have it on. If I was, I guess I could just leave it on the regular one, but for the most part, it stays off.
Sure. Cool. Nikki, what's the best way for people to keep up with what's going on? So I know the Iron Maidens are all over social media. Have you got? I saw your Facebook page has got a fairly large following. Is that the best way for people to keep up to date with your own stuff?
Yeah, I'm working on a website for myself. Hope to have that done soon as well. I'm all over social media too.
It looks like 2018 is pretty busy. So you're touring everywhere with the Maidens. You're getting your own solo stuff together. Is there anything else we should know about coming up for this year, however?
I think that's about it. Just hopefully new album, lots of touring
Yeah.
everywhere. We're hitting so many new places like Australia.
Awesome.
I think that's about it. Yeah.
That seems like a full
For now, anyway.
plate already anyway. That's awesome. That's great. All right. Hey, Nikki, thank you so much for joining me. It's been really cool to meet you. And yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing you guys in May, touring with the Iron Maidens.
Of course, we are counting down the days. We cannot wait.
All right, there you go, Nikki Stringfield. Really great to meet Nikki, and really great to meet Andreas as well. Two excellent players, both coming to Australia in May. Of course, Andreas with Sepultura and Nikki with the Iron Maidens. All right, listen, just before I go, I want to say thank you for tuning in. It is awesome to know that people all around the world are listening to the show and enjoying the guitar conversations that we're having here on the Guitar Speak podcast. It is super cool. If you've written to me lately, thank you so much. I got some really great feedback following the Jack Jones interview. I am so glad you enjoyed that. I totally did as well. And I really appreciate the kind words. Now listen, we are on Facebook and Instagram. Why not share and like some of our stuff promoting the show? That would be awesome. We're also on Apple Podcasts, so if you've not subscribed to us yet, you can do that. Get the episodes sent to your iPhone thing every week. If you're on Android, you can get us on Stitcher or iHeartRadio, and you can, again, get the episodes delivered straight to your Android sort of thing. All right, that's all I've got time for. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll catch you next time on the Guitar Speak podcast. My name's Matt Wakeling. Bye now.